Hello friends, today I am going to demonstrate how we can use user-defined exception in C++. So first of all, if you look at this diagram, there is a super class which is available in C++ library, and that super class name is exception, and the exception class has a method, and the method name is what? That is what? The constant character pointer what constant throw. So this function is already available in exception class, and just it returns what? The exception name. This is just an example. So already in C++ there is a predefined class, and the class name is exception, and it has a method name, that is what. This is the method signature defined in this class. If I want to create my exception, means I have to inherit this class, right? So we know in C++ how we can inherit this class. Let's say class my exception colon, here we have to write the access specifier public, private, protected. So class my exception single colon operator for inheritance public exception, and I'm overriding this method in my class, like same method name, that is constant character star what constant throw return. Now here I have to write what? In my exception, that is the exception which I am going to throw through my program, that is user defined exception. As well as I can write some other message also, like string exception message constant throw return exception message. So I can override this what method, or I can write my user defined function. So this is how we can achieve a user defined exception in C++. So let us take an example. So here I have to include an exception class. So I have included it. Then the class course credit exception, this is my user defined exception. This is what? The inheritance public exception. And inside a public section I have overridden the method, that is constant character star what constant throw. Let's say course credit can't be a negative. This is my message. As well as I have written one more method, string zero credit constant throw, that is user defined method return course credit can't be zero. So this is overridden method, and this is my user defined function. Clear this? This is how we can achieve. So this is my exception class. So I have customized that exception. Now let us look at the course class. Here I have constructor, show course credit method, destructor, then its private member. Then I have defined all these the parameters constructor I have defined. Then show course credit, where I am writing my logic. Right, so try, catch, throw, else. Then after that the destructor. Okay, now here I have created an what? The first object, that is course C1 11 C++ and course credit, right? The course code, course name and course credit. Then I am calling what? C1 dot show course credit. Now let us look at what show course credit has. Just find out the show course credit method. Here it is, show course credit, right? Now I am checking if course credit is less than 0. If it is less than 0, then what I am trying to throw course exception, right? So now I have throwing my user defined exception, and what is that name? Course exception. And the catch block, that is what? The class name and operator and e, where I can print e dot what, the message which is available inside that class that gets printed, or the super class का जो भी the exception which is there that can be thrown here. I am checking the condition course credit. If it is less than 0, then try block, throw a exception and print the exception. Or if the course credit is equal to 0, throw the exception, catch block, and now here I am just printing what? E dot 0 credit, because this is my user defined function 0 credit, and this is what? Overridden method E dot what. So what I have written in E dot 0 credit, so in 0 credit I have defined what? Return a course credit can't be 0. And what method? Course credit can't be negative. So course credit, so if I place, let's say -1, run the program. Now see, look at here, the course credit can't be negative, right? And the value I am printing this, course credit can't be negative. So which method it gets called? When we pass a course credit -1, so it calls this exception, right? Course credit that is -1 is less than 0, so it is throwing an exception, and it is printing what? E dot what, and what message we have inside this function? Course credit can't be negative. And if I write a 0, if I write here 0, then now here the course credit can't be 0, right? So the overall summary of this is what? I need to extend what? The exception class. This is my user defined exception. There I can override the method, or I can write my own methods. This is the signature you need to write, constant throw keyword. This is the signature you have to write in front of that method. It indicates that it throws an exception. Then inside a course block, course class, course credit method is there. Then the course credit, where I am throwing the exception, it should be a class name, throw course credit, which is your user defined exception. Then the course exception catch block, this is the way you have to write the catch block, and print, call the method. There can be multiple catch blocks. If it is not accepted by this method, then it will call the next catch block, like that. This is for less than 0, and it is for equal to 0, which is my user defined method E dot 0 credit. Okay, just go through my program and take your problem statement, apply the user defined exception. So that's it about the exception.